I start to come out of it. Who do I see in front of me? This big prick again. He says, oh, what do you want to tell me now, tough guy? I said, Bing, what are you doing here? I thought I'd tell you to go fuck your mother. I thought he was gonna shit. Pow, Bing. Oh, fuck is... Gee, I wish I was big just once. The big cops.
Really funny. Really funny.
What do you mean I'm funny?
It's funny, you know. It's a good story. It's funny. You're a funny guy.
What do you mean? You mean the way I talk? What?
It's just, you know, you're just funny. It's funny, you know, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how? I mean, what's funny about it?
Tommy, no, you got it all wrong.
Oh, Anthony. He's a big boy. He knows what he said. What'd you say?
You're right.
Funny how? What?
Just, you know, you're funny.
You mean,
So?
well, let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little fucked up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Not just, you know how you tell the story. What?
No, I don't know. You said it. How do I know? You said I'm funny. How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so funny about me? Tell me. Tell me what's funny.
Get the fuck out of here, Tommy.
You motherfucker. I almost had him. You stuttering prick here. Frankie, was he shaking?
Hello again. Essay here. Anyone who is familiar with humor, comedy, satire, probably is familiar with William Burr, aka Bill Burr. Now, Bill, let's just say this. He looks a lot older than he is, but let's not pretend. The guy's been around the block a few times. Yeah. For someone who was doing warehouse work before he got into comedy, you could say his trajectory has definitely been going only in one direction. And let's not pretend. The guy is funny when he makes an effort. However, funny thing happened on the way to the comedy club. What exactly? Well, too many people have been scratching their heads, both of them, wondering what's going on with Bill Burr. Now, I'm going to show you a snippet of a video by our old friend, Paul Joseph Watson. And let's just say he gets into the nitty-gritty of what's going on with Bill Burr. Or so we think. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
Bill Burr, America's biggest cook.
This guy sieg-heiled twice. This guy comes in and gives a shout-out to Hitler.
They can include comparisons to Hitler to smear someone you don't like.
Just like Hitler.
Dude's literally turned into the very thing he used to roast other people for.
He is the reference. Anytime you want to say somebody's evil, you just say he is the next Hitler. Donald Trump, he's the next Hitler. It's always he's the next Hitler. He died like, what, 75 fucking years ago? Nothing quiets a room like dropping the H-bomb.
It's okay when Bill does it.
Just like Hitler. He still has a job. That guy still has a job.
Bill Burr, anti-cancel culture crusader.
This is kind of hilarious moment, like last year where they started to try and cancel like dead people.
Thinks Elon Musk should be cancelled for offending screeching leftists.
That guy still has a job.
And that you should never listen to people who've had cosmetic surgery.
Fucking laminated face cunt.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there.
Let me tell you right now, somebody who has like fucking like Botox face and a hair system, you're gonna look at them like, yeah, man. This guy has the answers. It's like, this guy's looking in a mirror like, I don't like the way I look. I reject aging. I reject it.
Fascinating, isn't it, how Bill likes to make fun of Elon's appearance when he's the living embodiment of the soy jack meme. The comedian who routinely skewers the hypocrisy of liberals for their performative activism while reminding you he's married to a black woman literally every 5 minutes.
Fine, look at that sexy leg. Look at her, she's looking beautiful. Look how much fun she's having. This is me looking all glamorous. Fantastic. Look at her.
Became successful by pandering to anti-Trump derangement syndrome, anti-feminist, anti-woke narratives, while literally being married to a woke feminist with Trump derangement syndrome. And admitting that he has to run his own jokes through her purity filter.
Are you married? Yeah, no, she's the best. Okay. She's a saint, and she puts up with me. And I actually run jokes by her. Do you really? Yeah, like, should I say this?
Something happened around 2020 that seemed to mark Bill's descent into normie cuckoldry.
I got really into vaccines during COVID. I can't stop getting them now.
It's just fucking creepy to have guys like Mayor Garcetti be in charge of telling people whether or not they get to work. Like, that's not what a governor's supposed to be. That's not what a mayor's supposed to be.
They're trying to look out for your best interest. The whole fucking time, there's been fucking assholes on my street walking around, no masks, you know, not quarantining like the people that come by the houses. You see the fucking, you know, the same people that were going in and out of the house who are not part of their family still going in and out of the house.
You want people to walk down the street with a mask on?
Let's not start this, John.
Do you?
With Anthony Cumia asserting that Burr's wife made him end the friendship with him, at which point his comedy changed and that she runs every aspect of his life. Ooh, talk about cooked beyond belief.
Let me make some noise. Yo, make some noise. Make some noise for my wife.
Even as he's trying to impress her by attacking Elon on his podcast, she's humiliating him.
That idiot Elon Musk?
Oh.
That guy, like, he's gonna, who evidently is a Nazi?
You can take him on.
Why do liberals just sit back and not, they have nothing?
What are you doing?
This.
The lean never lies. When your new material gets the Hassan Piker seal of approval.
Naya has been fucking awesome since 2012. She's the best. Nia is the reason why Bill Burr is awesome.
Maybe time to ask who's actually writing it. Burr built an audience by telling edgy jokes about women.
Women are just constantly patting themselves on the back about how difficult their lives are.
Only for him to strangely and surreptitiously change all the jokes to be about white women.
Let's talk white women here, shall we? The woke movement was supposed to be about people of color, not getting opportunities, the at-bats that they deserve. And then somehow, white women swung their Gucci-booted feet over the fence of oppression.
In his new Netflix special, Burr based an entire joke on the premise that only white people have free speech in America.
You know why, right? Some people go, well, you know, it's a First Amendment issue. It's a freedom of speech. We have this wonderful thing in this country, for white people only, called freedom of speech.
Presumably, Bill just didn't watch the news during the entirety of the second half of 2020 and into 2021, while Black Lives Matter was literally burning down parts of cities and calling it free speech, when CNN characterized mass looting, arson and wanton violence as a legitimate form of First Amendment protest.
Largely peaceful demonstrations.
Apparently Bill missed all that, or maybe his wife just had a very strong word with him.
What are you doing?
And I was just amazed that all liberals had was one day of outrage.
One day of outrage? They've literally been setting fire to Tesla charging stations and invading Tesla showrooms for weeks. Burr's also cultivated this image of himself as a man of the people, urban tough guy.
They went with cheaper leather.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because some corporate cunt had to give himself a fucking bonus check at the end of the year.
Sports teams, sneakers, swear words. Rich people bad. He's so edgy.
Free Luigi!
He's such a man of the people that GQ magazine just published a gushing interview with him explaining how Bill Burr became a voice of the people. That's the same GQ magazine that's owned by Condé Nast, a subsidiary of Advance Publications owned by the Newhouse family, the 13th richest family in America, because who better to anoint the voice of the people than a business empire with a net worth of $24 billion. They must really have their finger on the pulse of the struggles of the working class. Less a faint whiff, more an overwhelming stench of hypocrisy. The kind of hypocrisy that reveals a self-proclaimed anti-woke, edgelord hardman to actually be a crybaby cook who has a total blubbering meltdown when Rocket Man hurts his feelings.
Okay, you saw that. Now, some of you are saying, oh, well, this guy is pussy whipped. And you say, what? Yeah, it's an old 20th century term. Don't sweat it, okay? And I'm thinking, is he? Maybe. Because like I said, old Bill, like I said, he's no spring chicken. I mean, the guy is almost old as I am. And he's been doing comedy since the 90s. Yeah, true. Indeed, I think the first time he was ever noticed by anyone was by, I think it was on Showtime. He used to appear on there. He used to have like, you know, stand-up shows. You know, this was at the very end of Bill Clinton. You know, Bill Clinton's going out the door, and he then started appearing on Comedy Central. But then he really made a name for himself when he started appearing on Dave Chappelle's TV show. And of course, everybody remembers that old show. Say, okay, yeah, I do remember that show. And yet, despite that, he continued to put his face out there. In fact, he was one of the early podcasters. And you say, really? Yeah. I mean, you think Joe Rogan was the first? No. Old Bill, he started his own podcast on the All Things Comedy. I think that's the name of the network, whatever. I mean, hard to keep track of all these things because they're all on the internet. But yeah, and that thing was on from I think it was George W.'s second term all the way into Obama. Yeah, I think it was on for like, I think 7 years. I think it was, whatever. And of course, some of you saying, yeah, but he's appeared on all kinds of stuff since. Yeah, I know he's appeared in all sorts of films, and not just The Mandalorian. I know that's what some people currently know him from, but yeah, he's been in all sorts of stuff. But the thing is, when you look, dig deep into his background, the guy is almost schizophrenic. And no, I'm not talking about clinically. Though you probably could say, you could probably say clinically, because for example, the guy supports abortion, but at the same time he's kind of wobbly on that issue. Why? And then of course he also is not really into political correctness. And you say, really? And then, of course, we expect a guy is a Green Party member. And you thought he was a Democrat? Oh, no. He's definitely way over on the left side of things. And wait for it, he was never a fan of Donald Trump. But he also wasn't a fan of Hillary Clinton either. And I'm thinking, hey, welcome to the club, brother. Nobody liked the old Wicked Witch of the North. But still, the guy, like I said, he's got some weird takes on stuff. For example, that scumbag who assassinated that businessman that was part of that health company, was it United Healthcare? Yeah, remember Luigi? Yeah. He actually praised Luigi and say, what? Yeah, he did. And I'm saying, dude, no, don't do that. And of course, as you saw in Watson's video, he blames it on his wife. Was her name Nina Hill? And of course, Nina Hill, that woman is a bit of a cipher. Because according to the IMDb, the woman was like a minor actress. And she hasn't acted in too many things, mostly in almost like walk-on roles going as far back, I think it was like 2006. Mostly on like cable shows and stuff. And of course, she and old Bill, they've been married for, I think, was it like 12, 13 years now? I think they got married during Obama's second term. But yeah, they've been together well over a decade. And of course, when you look at Bill Burr's repertoire, it's kind of all over the place. And of course, old Timmy Pool, he calls Bill Burr a knucklehead. And you know what? He may not be wrong. because I remember seeing that clip of the video where he was ragging on people who were complaining about the fires that we had out here over there in Malibu not too long ago. Complaining that it was almost like it was the people's fault that their houses burned down, and they shouldn't be criticizing the fire department. Dude, have you even watched the local news at all? And I'm thinking, I think that's probably what his main problem is. He has too many hot takes without doing his due diligence. But hey, that's been known to happen with comedians when they kind of go off the rails and not in a good way. I mean, for example, how many people remember old Chris Rock back in the day? I remember him. And yeah, he used to go off like nobody's business. But then he kind of mellowed out. I mean, some of the really hard skits he used to do back in the day, he don't do no more. Like the nigger skit, for example. And Eddie Murphy, same thing. If you saw Eddie Murphy doing stand-up back in the 80s, whoo, yeah, talking about total blowtorch. And yet, he kind of mellowed out too. In fact, only thing he seen me doing is, Shrek stuff. You know, he plays the donkey. And please don't make any jackass jokes, okay? So let's not go there. And of course, and it's not just comedians who sometimes mellow out as they get older. I mean, look at Schwarzenegger, for example. And you say Schwarzenegger, he's not a comedian. I know, but let me make my point. Because when you go back and look at Schwarzenegger in his early films, like Conan the Barbarian, like The Terminator, he was playing like really heavies. But then sometime around when T2 came out, he kind of started to mellow. And of course, anyone who ever saw the Last Action Hero understands that. I mean, he almost like started turning to a cartoon character by the 90s. Yeah, remember that Kindergarten Cop or Jingle All the Way? Remember those damn films he made back in Schwarzenegger back in the 90s, early 2000s? Yeah. And of course you say, why did he get all mellowed out? I don't know, he just got old. And of course, like I said, Robin Williams, woo-wee, wow. I mean, now some of you my age probably remember him from Mork and Mindy. And of course, that was like the edited down version of his routine. Indeed, I remember when he hosted the Academy Awards, I think it was in the middle 1980s, can't remember the exact year. But my father taped it. And we were watching the tape afterwards, and Robin Williams was just going completely off. I mean, his eyes were really rolling up in his head. The guy was just acting so crazy. And of course, that incident at the Academy Awards was so off the rails that he was pretty much banned from the Academy Awards. And you say, what? Yeah, look it up. Yeah, look at that. Robin Williams, he was banned from hosting the Academy Awards after that incident, when he just went crazy on camera. I mean, they couldn't bleep out, bleep half of what he was saying. He was just going so crazy. I guess he forgot, hey man, you're on a live TV broadcast with millions of people watching, man. You can't just say all that stuff on camera. I mean, like, woo. Yeah. But then he mellowed out too. Yeah, remember Good Will Hunting? Yeah. And what was that other film he did? Dead Poet Society? Yeah. Old Robin, he mellowed out during the 90s. And then, of course, he mellowed out completely when he hung himself, but I'm not going to get into that. So what's going on with Bill Burr? Is he like changing his tune? Or is he just being a knucklehead and just not being informed? Or is Watson right and the guy is just being a cuck? Maybe it's a little bit of all three. Me personally, I think he's a little schizophrenic. And no, not clinically. I think that, I think he's sort of like damn Steve Colbert, and you say, oh, that clown. Yeah, but remember, everyone remembers when Steve Colbert was on Comedy Central in the Colbert Report? He was funny. Yeah. But then something happened to him too. You know, he ended up on the damn CBS doing that late night show, and he turned full woke knucklehead. And let's not pretend. When you look at old Bill, yeah, when you look at his repertoire, yeah, he was sometime after, I think, yeah, during days of Obama, he started appearing in all sorts of stuff. In other words, even though he's not really an actor. Yeah. And I'm thinking, And of course, some of you are saying, oh, he's kissing up to the wokesters. And I'm thinking, have to admit, if that's what's going on here, that Bill Burr, in order to keep his job and keep the gravy train flowing, that he's putting on an act, pretending that he's woke when he really isn't. I have to admit, that would be clever. But of course, the problem with that is that after a while, you probably can't maintain that act. Because how many people remember the Dice Man, Andrew Dice Clay? I remember him, and that guy was super funny. But of course, if you remember, I think it was on Arsenio Hall back in the 90s. The guy broke down, and not in a good way. Why? Because even though in his comedy routine he basically playing a scumbag, a total misogynist, the lefty crowd, the political correctness crowd that was really rising up during the 90s, man, they just ran down Andrew Dice. They just beat, bash, and bludgeoned the guy until I guess couldn't take the stress any longer. Just a quick reminder to all of you that my short story, The White Cat, is still available on Substack. The links are down below in the description. Join Margot Thompson, a beautiful stage actress and recent widow who finds salvation in the form of a white cat during a night of terror. And while you're looking up my oddball thriller, my book series, Glitch, is still available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other bookstores. The links are down below in the description. Join Ike and Sandra, a reluctant jewel thief and a kidnapped teen model who are on the run from the law across the American Southwest. And let's not pretend, I'm pretty certain old Bill probably was in the same comedy club the old Andrew Dice Clay. And I guess he probably saw what happened to Andrew Dice Clay. And he probably at the time said, oh, that sucks. But then I guess if he was halfway cognizant, old Bill probably saw all the woke craziness happening in the entertainment industry. And as Tim Pool would say, he wanted to maintain his feed bag. So he probably said, you know what, I'm going to placate these people, but at the same time, I'm going to try to hide my true feelings. And that's why when you look at his background, the guy, ideologically speaking, he's all over the place. And that's why I think that in the end, the old Bill reminds me of something that was said in Lawrence of Arabia. It's a great scene too, with the Claude Rains referring to Peter O'Toole's character, and he said there are two kinds of people in this world. There are liars who merely evade the truth, and then there's people who tell half lies, and those people forgotten where they put it. And I always remembered that because I always thought that was a great line. And I think that in the case of old Bill, I think he has been telling half lies for too long. And now he's forgotten where he has put the truth. Just saying. Well, that's all I gotta say about old Bill. And hopefully he doesn't end up in a rubber room in a straitjacket before too long. Because let's not pretend he can't continue bouncing all over the political spectrum like a ping pong ball. He's got to land somewhere, and that's my opinion.